Hello everyone, my name is Darnay Flowerstrift and welcome to Racing Review, where I give you a brutally honest review and rating of Event Labs in Forza Horizon 5. Today's event I'll be covering is Port Orange by Absolute Speed. This is an asphalt racetrack set by the coast. Here's what the creator himself had to say about their event.
Hey everyone, Absolute Speed here. I wanted a track that provided challenges beyond straight line speed and corner grip. Port Orange includes technical corners and elevation changes that add to the dynamic nature of driving, particularly when racing against other drivers fighting for position. It's not perfect. There are a few walls with dead stops due to unreliable prop collision boxes. The tunnel walls are particularly dangerous, but at least it looks nice. I spent a lot more time detailing on this track than my last project, and I think it shows for the better.
Alright, thanks for that Absolute Speed, but don't think it means I'm gonna go easy on you. Today I'm driving the 1997 Mitsubishi GTO, tuned for A-Class grip. I find it really hard to believe that this is only Absolute Speed's second event. The only reason I believe it is because he said he's played many other games in which you can build a track. I too have a similar upbringing, playing games like Trackmania Build-A-Race on the Wii and Hot Wheels Unleashed. But my first and second track on Forza was nowhere near this level. So props to Absolute Speed for being incredibly talented off the rip. Side note, PGG, can we maybe get a spline system for Track Creator like Hot Wheels Unleashed has, or even like what Planet Coaster has? It would make banking so much better. But anyway, we're not here to rant about FH6, we're talking about this beautiful event. First thing I noticed testing this track out is how incredibly smooth it is. I love how Absolute Speed took all the advice from his previous event to heart and really showed it off in this event. The elevation changes are smoother thanks to the use of plaster walls instead of the racetrack pieces, and checkpoint placement is much better. However, there are some spots that allow for corner extensions beyond the desired route, but it's not terrible and doesn't allow for any major corner cuts. The best way to place checkpoints on a race event is to go super slow while placing them. Don't worry, it won't ruin the racing line braking points as long as you keep it looking smooth. You're going to want to place 3 checkpoints per corner if possible, one before the corner, one at the apex or middle of the corner, and the last at the end of the corner. Make sure to keep in mind the racing line and draw it just as you would race it. Place the entry checkpoint just before you would turn into the corner, the second as you hit the apex, and the third after you straighten out after the corner. Sometimes you may have to move closer to the middle of the road while placing the checkpoints so you can get the checkpoints exactly where you want them on the edge of the road. For back-to-back corners like the chicane on this track, making sure there are checkpoints on each apex is most important. If the corners are super close and you physically cannot place a checkpoint on the exit of the first corner, just putting one on the apex of the next corner should be perfectly fine, much like how the creator did on this event. Okay, now the track layout. I like it. It flows well, and there's a great mixture of easy and hard corners. Like I said before, the elevation changes are smooth and don't mess up any braking zones, which in turn complements the track rather than making corners more difficult. Although I did find myself wishing it was a little bit wider at some points. The track is still good for close racing. Maybe just make sure it's someone with similar skill as you. The one major thing I found interesting that Absolute Speed seemed to experiment a lot with is the curbs. Some are great, being flush with the road and having slight rumble to them. Others are either really bumpy, like the outside curb before the double 90 hairpin, too high off the ground, like the 2 corners leading up to the S-bend tunnel, or has crazy angle, like on the inside of the last corner and a bit on the downhill S-bend. Now we talk about the decoration. It's good. It has different sections, so I always know how it's coming up next on the track, but honestly it feels like it's lacking an identity. It looks nice, don't get me wrong, but it doesn't seem to have a complete theme. But if I were to give it one, it would be a very small port out in the middle of nowhere. I think unfortunately it's the trees that have a bad render distance that make it feel a bit barren. But it does look really good, and it works with the track design. I also really like the bridge and tunnel by the start-finish line a little off to the right, and the prop work around the pits in general. I also really enjoy how the port is decorated. It's definitely visually appealing, although it's a little small in comparison to the map as a whole. And the mini-city doesn't really fit in the area, especially because it looks like it's just sitting on a block. But what is there looks good, and it feels like a real place. The barren feel could just be because the creator ran out of prop percentage. The only other issue with the decoration is just some dead stops in the tunnels. Now here's the positive of the event. Great elevation change, good variety of corners, great track layout, good checkpoint placement, and distinctive decoration. The negatives are some dead stops, aggressive curbs, and the decoration for the most part is a bit barren. With all that being said, I rate this event a 7.1 out of 10. And for the creator's second event, this is amazing. I would probably rate my second event at like a 2, so Absolute Speed should be insanely proud of what you created, and I'm super excited to see what you make in the future. Thank you all for watching. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe if you enjoy the content and want to see more, or don't, that's okay too. The lap time I was able to achieve in A-Class was a 1:24.735. Think you can beat it?